What's up guys, Product Pros back at you. Got a neat one today from Master Collections. This is the MC-A013 Mermaid knife.
Ursula, this doesn't seem... Sorry, what?
I guess you could call it that. Kind of got the underwater little thing going on down there on the blade. Give you guys a quick little sneak peek real quick. Got a real nice underwater theme here on the blade. Did a really nice job on that paint job right there, and really detailed work in the handle right here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into the review. First things first, the trigger on this thing is actually really nice. Got your assisted trigger, one-handed opening and close is super good on here. Not the fastest, but it definitely has a nice crisp feel to it, which is super nice. Yeah, really like that trigger on there. Let's go ahead and give you guys some close-ups. Starting on the blade, you got your 440C stainless steel right here. Got a real nice underwater theme going on. I wonder if it's the same on both sides. Actually, let me look at it real quick. Yeah, it's the same on both sides, but you got your Master Collections emblem right up here at the top, and your details are up here on the bottom. And you've got a clip point blade. And what I mean by that is, if you take your finger at the top of the knife, which you call the spine of the knife, you're going to run your finger down, you have a real sharp drop off right here. Compared to a drop point, it's going to have a real gradual slope, kind of slope right here. But the thing is with the clip points is, you're going to have a real sharp point right here. Got a real nice belly right here. Decent sized belly on the knife. Not super large, not super small, but you're going to have a lot of area for cutting. And it is a straight blade. You don't have any serration down here, which personally I like it to where it's just all straight blade rather than having the serration. But that's just a personal thing. You've got your dual thumb studs here at the top of the knife, which is going to be used for opening and closing the knife. But with this knife, you're not going to have too much of a use for those because it is a super good trigger right there. So it's going to, doesn't seem to, you know, some knives, you'll open them up and they'll kind of stop out right here. Use those thumb studs for that. But with this one, there's no need for that because it seems to work every single time you use it. And then you've got your liner lock down here. Super simple to open and close. I'll show you that one more time. All you got to do, push that lock in right there. Closes the knife. Seems to lock into place really well too. You don't have any problems with that. Working our way down to the handle of the knife. Got your aluminum handle right here, oxidized in all these different colors. You got a mermaid. I don't know if you guys can see that right there. Yeah. So you got the mermaid right here with the starfish in the back. It seems, yep, starfish and seahorses in the back actually. And on this side it's just plain with your pocket clip right here. Super simple knife, guys. The grip on it, it's got a pretty good grip. Nothing super special just because of the, there's not much grip except for the textured mermaid right here. But it actually feels pretty good. I guess you wanted to use a defensive stance. It has a decent defensive stance too. Should be good right there. Got your kind of grooves, finger grooves right here in the bottom, kind of conforms with the shape of the mermaid's body. Kind of, it feels decent. And then we got our thumb ramp right up here at the top. You get a good grip right there. You need to cut whatever you need to use. Should be good to go right there. And other than that, let's see. The last thing on here is that pocket clip like I was saying. Pretty beefy little pocket clip. We'll check that out in just a bit. And one thing I can already tell about it is going to be really good because it's really far up on the knife itself. So you're not going to have much room right there of the knife sticking out of your pocket, which is going to be real nice for the concealed aspect of it. But one thing I am curious to see is how sharp this knife is. So let's see if I can't pull up a sleeve right here and get some hairs. I'm actually getting a couple on here. Let's see if you guys can see that in the close-up camera. Right up there on the blade. I'm not sure if you can see a couple of them down here. So, kind of curious to see what this thing's going to do on some paper. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, real quick, I want to see how this thing works on a single-handed paper right here. So let's go ahead and see if I can't get a good catch right here. Seems to catch fairly well and slides down to a point, but then it seems to sort of kind of stop and start to rip. Let's try that a couple more times. Yeah, so it's having a little difficulty catching. There we go. So it seems to be, once you run down to the end of the point right there, it's going to kind of run off a little bit. One more time. Oh, that was a bad one. Let's see if I can't do it better right here. Yeah, so it seems to catch to a point, but once you get down to that certain point, it kind of stops that ripping right there and starts to rip just a bit. But let's go ahead and see what this thing is on this point right here. Kind of curious to see what this point's going to do, being a clip point blade, as well as the catch down. Alright, so as you just saw, I did a decent job with the single-handed, but I want to try with Matt back here holding it with two hands and see what we can't do with this blade. So, alright, it actually catches really good. There's very minimal tearing, but there is just a little bit. Let's try that again. Yeah, so at certain points it seems to catch a little more than other spots, but that's actually really not too bad for a little show knife like this. Let's go ahead and test out the point. Kind of got some high expectations because it's a clip point. Yeah, it seems to have a little more difficult catch. You know, with a clip point, you'd think it'd just be super sharp, but this is actually, it's got a decent grip down right there. I don't know why. See, that might be it right there. There's actually, I'll show you that in just a second, but there's actually a blemish right up here on the tip, so the paint's starting to chip, so that might be a reason on why that's catching right there. I'll show you that in just a second. Alright, so pretty decent blade on there. You know what, for right out of the packaging, it's not too bad, but one thing I did notice while I was doing that was right up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me see. Yeah, right up here on the very tip of the point, you have a blemish right there. So the paint's starting to chip just a hair right there. You know what, so that means after use, this probably won't be, it'll probably start to wear off on the handle right here. On both sides, the paint's going to start to wear. So that's kind of a downside, I guess. But you know, it's more of a show knife anyways. You probably won't see many people carrying this knife around. It's not much of an EDC, everyday carry knife. More of a show knife just to have around, just for miscellaneous work. But still, really cool knife. One thing I wanted to check out was this pocket clip. Like I was saying, guys. Oh, alright, here's one thing. Whenever they're mass produced like this, there are bound to be some flaws. So I don't know if you guys can see that up here at the very top right here. There seems to be a discoloration in the paint. Seems like for somehow, let's see. Yeah, there's a discoloration in the paint right up here. Let that focus on in. It's a darker blue right there. So that was probably some mishap happening during the production of the knife. But with all mass-produced knives, there are going to be some flaws. But one thing, like I was saying, was this belt clip is pretty beefy. It's got a nice little dip right here. So I'm guessing it's going to stay in the pocket real nice. So let's go ahead and check it out and see what we're looking at. Alright, let's go ahead and see what we're looking at. Go ahead and slide this on in the pocket. Slides in really easy, actually. And one thing I was mentioning earlier was, I really like how it's up here toward the top. There's really no room sticking out right there. I'm not sure if you can see right there. Yeah, there is a little bit right there, but it's not much of a deal breaker right there. A lot better than some of the other knives that we do. With it's all the way down. The pocket clip is placement. The placement on it is really far down on the knife. But with this one, super hard up on the knife, which is a definite plus. Let's see on the pull out right here. Super easy to pull out. It's almost as if it's too loose. You know, it goes in pretty good, slides out. Let's see if I'm kind of just walking around. It's not too bad. It is a little bit heavy, which I can kind of feel, and the printing is a little bit, but nothing super serious. Like I was saying earlier, it's not much of an EDC, more of a show knife, but it does have pretty good concealability. Actually, you can kind of see that my shirt's kind of high up right here. But if I was wearing kind of like a jacket or something a little bit longer, that belt clip would not be showing, and you would be pretty good to go. Let's see, pull it out, the trigger is right there, and you are good to go. Alright, the only thing really I wish was, it was a little bit more beefy, because it does slide in and out rather easily, but other than that, design on the belt clip is actually really nice. It's a little bit more of a beefy knife. I don't know if you guys can see how thick this thing is, but it really doesn't add on a bunch of weight. I don't know if it's because this is all aluminum right here, and usually aluminum's lighter than the stainless steel you got up here in the blade, but the weight distribution is still actually really good. You know, some of the knives, all the weight's up in the blade or all the weight's down in the handle. You can just really feel it, and you just not a good feel to it. But I'm kind of curious to see how much this thing is really going to weigh. And while we're doing that, let's go ahead and get some measurements on this thing. Alright, we got our scale here. Let's go ahead and throw this thing on there. It's pretty heavy, actually. From my predictions, 5.71 ounces. It is a rather large knife. It looks a tad over 8. Kind of curious to see what that's looking at. But 5.7 is actually a little above average on the EDC knives, but like I was saying, it's probably not going to be too much of an EDC knife, being that's kind of got that really cool looks to it, not much of a aspects to it, just pretty simple. But yeah, wow, 9 inches on the dot total length, so I can see why it's going to be a little bit heavier, just because you got that extra inch. Usually around a 8-inch knife, you're going to have around 5.2 ounces, but for this one being 9 inches, I'm not too surprised that it's a little bit heavier. The length of the blade, just the blade, not counting the choil down there and the trigger, you've got 4 inches, and if you want to count that choil and the trigger right there, you could say right at 4.5 inches. So let's see, closed up, you're going to have right around, let's see, line this up, 5 inches on the dot, which pretty large handle, is pretty evenly distributed, 4 and 4.5 inches on the blade and the handle. So that's not too bad at all. Let's go ahead and dive on deeper into the review.
Yeah, I'm working on a medley of all 17 Pokemon theme songs.
Alright, so we got a 9-inch knife, and it was 5.71 ounces, so I guess you could say that's around average, you know. An 8-inch knife is usually around 5 ounces, so that extra inch, you're probably going to get that extra ounce, 0.7 ounces. So pretty average on the weight and measurements. It's actually a rather large knife. I didn't realize how long this thing really was. Usually an average, 8 inches. But this thing is a whopping 9 inches, so it is actually a rather large knife. But other than that, guys, that's about it. A really cool knife from Master Collections. Like I was saying, it is the MC-A013. Go ahead and check it out. I'll leave the link down below where you guys can go and check this thing out. Like I was saying, not much of an EDC knife, but it definitely is a cool knife just to have, around the shop or just for use for miscellaneous work. Definitely isn't going to break on you. It's a super, I can already tell this is a pretty dependable quality knife. And it was pretty cheap too, maybe 10, 15 bucks on Amazon. Master Collections does a really good job with their skins, or I guess you could say their overall look of the knives. I think we've got a couple other Master Collections coming out soon, and they do a really, really good job with the way that their knives look. Just really good detail work. We had that little blemish up here at the top of the tip, so I'm not sure how it's going to hold up over time on the paint on the blade, as well as that little discoloration in the paint up here. But you know what? It happens with all knives. Not a big deal. Not a deal breaker for me. You know what? Overall, really impressed with the knife. So that's about it, guys. Also, if you want to win a knife just like this, every single Friday night we are doing a giveaway. All you got to do is tune into the video, follow the instructions below. It's super simple, super easy, and you have a chance to win a knife just like this every single Friday night. And other than that, I think, well, one more thing, actually. We got the social media just set up recently. We got an Instagram, a Twitter, or Facebook page. So go ahead and check that out at Product Probes. We are following back the first 100 followers on Twitter and Instagram. So be sure to check us out at Product Probes. Kind of just boosting us up, getting the word out. Product Probes is trying to work our way up to the top, and it's been a lot of fun so far. So we appreciate all the support, guys. Really, really do appreciate it. But that's it for the video, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Got a real nice belly down right here. What happened? Did it crash?